And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today I'm talking about a little card game called Draw Blood. That doesn't sound very positive. Draw Blood is a little game of monsters. It's for 2 to 3 players, and it's essentially a Rummy-style game in which you're trying to make melds. But unlike a regular deck of cards, this one has monster cards and has actions. It's kind of a variant, but it's a pretty hefty little variant. I mean, it changes quite a few things. Let's take a look at it. Draw Blood has a deck of cards with some pretty nice graphic design on them. I really like the teeth with the 2 fangs of blood here. And these cards have basically 2 different suits in them that are red and black, and they're numbered from 1 to 6. There's also different monsters, and there are these kill cards that are in the deck. Now, this deck is going to be shuffled, and cards are going to be handed out to each player, 10 cards. On your turn, you are going to draw 1 card from here, or if there's a discard pile, you can take the entire discard pile into your hand. Players then have 1 move that they can play. Now, one of the moves that the players can play is to place a monster in front of them. When they place a monster in front of them, they can start making melds. Until that monster is there, they cannot place melds. After a player has placed a monster, on a future turn, their move might be to play another monster. When this happens, because you have 2 monsters, from now on you have 2 moves. You still only draw 1 card, but you get to do 2 actions. And if you have a 3rd monster out there, you get to do 3 moves per turn. One of your moves can be to kill somebody else's monster. Now that will lower the number of moves they have. In fact, it might make them stop being able to play cards of that monster, it might stop them from playing different melds. But here it would knock me down from 3 moves to 2 moves, although if I have another monster, I can heal myself in this manner. Now, players are trying to play melds. There are different kinds of melds that you can play. You can play a run, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., or you can play 2, 3, 4, 5 of the same kind, and you play them in front of you when you have a meld. Once you have a meld, other people can also play off that meld. So once I've played 3 3s in front of me, another player, if they happen to have a 3 in their hand, can play that 3 in front of them also. Now, if you play 3 of a kind, you are also allowed to use it as an action. If you play 3 of a kind of a black color, then you can kill one of your opponent's monsters. That does not count as a meld, it goes away. It's actually an action. And if you play 3 of a kind of a red color, you can revive one of your monsters. You're also allowed to play monsters as a meld. So if I get 3 of the same, I could play those as a meld at that point. Or if I happen to have 3 different monsters, I could play those as a meld also. So this will continue until one player gets rid of all their cards. After players have gotten rid of all their cards, then you will do scoring. And each player is going to get points for the cards that are left in their hand. These cards are worth fewer points than the monster cards, which are worth more points. You add those points up and you'll start another round, and you'll continue till one player reaches a certain number of points, at which point the player with the fewest points is the winner of the game. And that's essentially how you play. Alright, on the positive side of Draw Blood, I like the artwork. It's stark, it's clean, the monsters are funny looking, they're easy to tell apart. The red and black, the different colors. The gameplay itself is very simple, so that's good. It's a nice small package, easy to carry around, great. But, first of all, the complete rules are not in the game. You have to go online to read them. That's a serious no. Serious no. Publishers never do that. I mean, you can get most of them off this card, but not all of them, and that's really problematic. You shouldn't have to go on the internet to play a game. Okay, but as it is, the game is just so... It's almost... I know this is going to sound bad. Well, I guess it is bad. I mean, it's just so boring in a sense. Because there's really not a lot of tension. You just got to play what you got to play. When I play Rummy, there's always this tension. Oh, when's that other person going to go out? They're just going to go... and play their cards and go out. That's one of the cool things about Rummy. Here you don't have that because you can only take so many actions. And this whole killing someone's monster off and bringing it back to life It's not like, ooh, I'm going to do this. It happens. You fully expect people to kill your monster stuff because they have those cards in their hand. And you don't want to have those death cards are the most points when you have them in your hand. So why wouldn't you play them? So in essence, it's like there's not a whole lot of difficult decisions in this game. I really feel like it's a little auto play. And it's a little simple, and while it's different from Rummy because the extra monsters out there give you extra actions, it's not like there's any disadvantage. Why would you not play your monsters out as quickly as possible to get the extra actions? Why would it just there's not a lot of difficult choices to make, and there's very little tension or stress. It's just kind of like, ooh, let's see what happens. This is like the Uno of Rummy games. So I could see some people wanting to play it because they want to play with the funny little monsters and they like the artwork style, but and also it plays okay with 2 and 3, but there are so many good Rummy variants out there, the mystery Rummy variants that people can play, and they also work really well with 2 players. So I was kind of hoping this one would offer something different, and it did offer something different, but instead of making the game more interesting, it kind of went in the opposite direction. So Draw Blood, cool art, but that's really the only positive thing I can say about it.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Hey, Tom, shut the door!
There?